Sports. I'm Kenny O. And today I'm going to give you a quick little preview of my NFL cheat sheets. These will be available starting week 1 of the NFL season 2015. They'll be offered for a price under $10, so a good value. The whole mission here is to give you the information you need in order to make educated picks. I could easily throw out some lineups for you to plug into Fanduel or DraftKings, but when you win, you won't feel as good about it, and when you lose, you're just going to blame me. You're not going to understand why you lost, and you won't grow by it. So this is just a half-empty template of my cheat sheets. Obviously, I don't have all the information yet. I need to go through preseason and get some other data, but this will give you a general idea of what's going on. So I will start by just showing you how this breaks down. So over here in this section, we have the Vegas odds. So you can see the teams are listed in alphabetical order. So this will be what Vegas predicts each team will score. Definitely relevant for when you're trying to pick the best players to play. This will be basically what I believe are the total TDs in that game. So let's just take Arizona. Let's say Vegas says they're going to score 21 points. Well, I would say there's a possible of 3 TDs. So that's important because as I do my prediction, so I go over to Carson Palmer, maybe I say he's going to get a potential of, this is what the TD Sky means, I'll explain this all, 2 TDs, and I'd go down to my running backs and find Ellington down here, and I'd say he'd possibly get 1 TD. So there's a breakup of 3 TDs. There's no sense predicting that different players are going to get a total of 5 TDs when Vegas says there's only going to be 3 in the game. So that's how that works out. Then we have a section here for the weather. If it's a dome team, I'll just put dome. If it's outdoor, there's relevant things like it being windy that could affect the passing, definitely the kicking as well. If it's snowing, if it's very wet, those are definitely things that you want to take into consideration. So that's kind of the Vegas area. So then we go over to the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks, they're all listed here. They're matched up with their teams. So this could change based on if a starting quarterback comes out during the week. This color-coded section here is my matchup section. I'll show you over on the side where I get these numbers. Scroll over here. So over here you have the teams, the games. So Green Bay versus Chicago week 1, Kansas City versus Houston, Cleveland versus the Jets. And these stats usually would be generated through the season. And over here, a 3-week sample. Since we don't have that in week 1, these stats all here are based on totality of last year. So if you look at Chicago versus the QB, they're ranked 31st. So obviously you see it's in green. That's something you want to target. So quarterbacks versus Chicago, you want to target. Also, tight ends. They give up, they're 32nd in the league, so last against tight ends. So there's another place to target. So if you go down running backs, so all the greens are ones you'd want to target. Jacksonville's a good target. New Orleans a good target. Oakland's the worst, so Cincinnati, so Jeremy Hill. So that's where, so now I just take these quarterback numbers and then bring them over here, and that's where you see them here. So these are the matchups. So you look, Carson Palmer, Ryan, they all have good matchup. Flacco, Matt Castle, Newton are kind of getting worse. Jay Cutler's neutral. These are all good. Neutral. Aaron Rodgers is great. Ryan Mallett for Houston, terrible. Andrew Luck has a bad matchup. Alex Smith, Tannehill, Bridgewater, all bad matchups, and so on and so forth. So this is our FanDuel salaries. Right now, I'm just using the FanDuel chart. I may look into doing one for DraftKings, obviously, with their salaries. I'm just fooling around with this right now. TD Sky, so that's the sky limit. That's what I think their potential TDs are. based on the Vegas odds. And you go through fantasy points for the last 3 weeks. I won't have that. Fantasy points for the year. Obviously, you won't have that in week 1. Their projected points for that week. So this is very important as well. So as we go across, the top 32 tight ends are all listed here. Their matchups, their salary. Obviously, for tight ends, we're going to look at targets, red zone targets, receptions, yards per catch, TDs, and their fantasy point totals and everything like that. So that's all there. I explained the matchup section over this side. And as we go down, this is all our running backs. I think you have 40 in here, the top 40 running backs with all the stats. Like, obviously, a lot of this stuff's going to be from last year's data. So, move down here, wide receivers, the same thing. And then off to the left here, we have all the kickers. I haven't finished that yet, but we're going to have stats related to them, the conditions they're playing in, and also kickers and defenses are tightly linked. So if you're playing a good defense, it's going to stop a lot of guys in the goal line. Well, kicker's going to get a lot of points. That's good. This is going to section here is going to help pick out the defense you want to play. So we'll have the different stats: pass yards, rush yards, like ones against the defense. I want to throw in some more here. It's still work in progress. And then finally, after I have this whole chart, you're going to have access to that. I just started to throw together a quick little pick or section here. This is going to be where the top picks are. So this is, I just threw together just so you guys could see. I'm going to list the quarterbacks here. Bright green is the better of the picks, light green. Then we got their salaries, so you can match them up in your lineups. Their fantasy points per game, what they're currently getting, what they're projected to get this week, whether they're a cash game, like a head-to-head game player, whether they're just a tournament GPP player, or whether they can fit into both categories. In notes here, like I said, I just randomly threw these in. May not start, check forecast. Has the best matchup, high risk, high reward. Same things for your running backs, green, light green, yellow would be kind of cautious of, and the punt play at the bottom will have punt plays for each one, so like Carlos Hyde, again if they're GPP, and so on. I'll have that for receivers, tight ends, defense, and kickers. Then I'll have a section with notes, and that's what you'll have access to each week. Each week you'll get these sheets. Realistically, you could just come to this section here, and you could take your players you want, and just plug them all into your Fanduel lineups. You could actually take all these players, and like Roto Grinders has a tool where a lineup builder, you can just highlight all the players I have here, and they'll build lineups for you. Or you can do it the way I enjoy doing it, and go back to the fantasy board here, and go through yourself and look at all the stats, and pick the players that you want. So this is just a quick preview of what these boards will look like. They'll be available before the first game of the season. I think I put down September 3rd is when you could get them. Obviously, you have to go through the preseason games to see who's starting, see how people are playing, and then the board will be complete. Obviously, it becomes a lot easier the second and third week of the season as you have some real regular season data to throw in there. So hope you enjoyed, and check out TKO Fantasy on Twitter or TKOFantasySports.com for all this information. You have yourself a good day.